Hello there, I'm Steve McClellan, the financial engineer, where we help you grow, control, and keep your hard-earned money instead of giving it away to taxes, fees, losses, and the unknown. And that's exactly what we're going to do here today. Over the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to share with you what your biggest expense is. Then we're going to help you reduce that biggest expense. And then make sure you stick around to the end, because now that you're able to keep more of your hard-earned money, we're also going to show you how to grow and control it and have access to that money and spend it on however you want. So, what do you think your biggest expense is? Is it your house? Is it your vehicles? How about your kids? I know they can feel expensive. Or often here, employees. Nope. It's none of those. It is taxes. Taxes are your biggest expense. Taxes are the major reason why most won't reach or maintain financial independence. Even with this fact, taxes are a touchy subject, and it's not hard to understand why. We have been conditioned to fear the tax man. And tax laws only seem to get more and more complicated. In fact, back in 1917, when the income tax was introduced as a temporary measure to help pay for our war, the Tax Act was 10 pages long. Fast forward to today, that same document is over 3,227 pages. Even one of my heroes, Albert Einstein, once said, "The hardest thing to understand is income taxes." Right once again, Einstein. When I returned home to my beloved province of Nova Scotia in 2014, I was appalled by the amount of taxes that came off my paycheck. Our property taxes are sky high with limited services, and the deed transfer was more like an FU tax. I'm trying to keep it PG-13 here, but it was like a welcome home sucker tax. Still get very upset about it. What I noticed, the struggle is real, mainly due to the high taxes that significantly contributes to the high cost of living here in Nova Scotia and across this great country of ours. It is my belief if we had more access and more control of our hard-earned money instead of giving it away, we would be able to focus on what's truly important. We would focus on our careers, our health, and our relationships. This, in turn, would make our communities even better. That's why I have such a passion on helping people reduce their taxes. But it's not right to tell people how to reduce their taxes. Everyone should pay their fair share. Tax the rich are comments I often hear. Well, let me ask you this question. Do you like the way our government spends your money? If the answer is yes, no need to listen to this video. Carry on. But if you share my frustration with the high taxes and the mismanagement of those funds, our money, continue on, because we're going to show you how to reduce those taxes. Now, I got to be crystal clear. There's a huge difference between tax avoidance and tax evasion. Tax evasion is hiding income or claiming false deductions, which is illegal. However, as a Canadian, it is your right to avoid paying as much tax as legally possible. Tax evasion is legal. Tax avoidance is just smart financial planning. If a flat tax was introduced, where everyone pays their fair share, the need for most accountants, financial planners like myself, tax lawyers, and even Revenue Canada would be all but eliminated. Until that day arrives, we're going to show you how to reduce your personal and investment taxes, and let's discuss why this is important. There are several unintended consequences that occur when taxes are increased beyond the reasonable limits. There's that financial strain, crushed dreams, feeling trapped that is crippling small businesses. There's the lost opportunities for community development, as there's a sense of injustice and frustration that's taken a toll on our mental well-being. As you can see, raising tax and excessive regulations is not the answer. Striving for a balanced and fair tax system is necessary to inspire the financial well-being, to empower dreams, to foster a sense of freedom for the dreamers and the doers, for the business owners like you and I. With the current government spending, do you feel taxes are going to increase or decrease in the near future? Now, Tax Freedom Day, the day where you stop working for the 3 levels of government, was May 27th. That was in 1981. Fast forward to 2023, it's now June 19th. This is pre-carbon day tax, folks. Pre-carbon tax. When do you think Tax Freedom Day is going to be this year and the following years? Our debt is getting out of control. It's actually one of our biggest expenses, bigger than healthcare. And if we were to pay off that debt, every Canadian right now in 2023 owes over $76,000. Now, why do I know so much about taxes? Well, let me tell you. Back in 2008, you can see this is a picture of me and my now wife. She's so beautiful. She's still beautiful. But back then, I was the man. I was the monkey in charge of bananas. I had an environmental engineering job. I was on the 27th floor overlooking my favorite pub. Money seemed to be coming in. I had an expense account. I could do no wrong. And then September 2008 happened. This was a huge wake-up call. My investments dropped significantly, including the stock options that I just invested. Now, let me tell you, paying tax on money you earned and money you made sucks, but paying tax on money you lost sucks even more. It was a huge wake-up call. I started taking my financial life seriously. I made a vow to the moon and stars never to put myself or my loved ones in that financial situation again. I got proper financial education. I worked with a professional, and this is when I realized just how much money I was leaving on the table, and that taxes are your biggest expense in life. I dove deep into the Canadian tax laws and systems. Hey, I was unemployed. I had a lot of time to do this. One of the things I realized is CRA, while they're not necessarily out there to help you, they have humans working for them, and they're not the big, scary giants that the media makes them out to be. I called them. If I didn't understand a certain line, I called them until I got the same answer twice. And this often took more than 2 calls. But again, they're not as scary and nasty as they meant them to be. And this is when I discovered 2 very important lines that can help you out. Line 135. There is no better way to create tax deductions than owning a small business, and in most cases, running it from your home. Think about it. When the income tax was introduced in 1917, what were most people doing for a living? They were farmers, fishermen, mercenaries, bankers. They were business people. The Canadian tax laws and the tax systems are set up for business owners. Time to become one. The other line that caught my attention was line 221. If you borrow money to invest in an investment that earns income, such as interest or dividends that is outside your tax-free savings account and RSP, you can deduct the interest that you pay on the loan. So you should note that anytime you borrow money for a legitimate business expense, that interest is also tax deductible, and that would be deducted as a business expense on line 135. But here, this begs the question, is your primary mortgage tax deductible? Not in Canada unless you convert your mortgage debt into investment debt. This is commonly, or not so commonly, known as the Smith maneuver. The Smith maneuver is a strategy that converts non-tax deductible debt, such as your mortgage, into tax deductible debt. Any loans, such as vehicle loans, on which the interest expense is not deductible, can be and should be converted into deductible interest. This is also known as the mini Smith maneuver. All right, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Maybe I'll do another video in the future. But now that you're growing your business, you're no longer in the start phase, but you're growing and established, it is time to incorporate. Should you incorporate or not incorporate? 99% of the time, the answer is yes. There are two main reasons to incorporate. One is to protect yourself and your assets from creditors and from being sued. And the second is to defer and reduce your income tax. There are a lot of positives and few negatives to incorporate it. I just went over the first two, but you really want to make sure you incorporate properly. To save yourself a lot of time, money, and energy, find professionals that have your best interests in mind. Now that you're incorporated, what happens is a lot of business owners have to pay themselves to maintain their expensive lifestyle. And look, when you're incorporated, anytime your money crosses that imaginary line that is very real, 24 to 54% of your money goes to the government. And this is why a lot of business owners are struggling, because a lot of money has to cross that line to pay for their mortgage, their investments, insurances, and well-being, including vehicles. To do this wisely, there is a better way where you can move your expenses inside your corporation and including your investments. Let me show you exactly what we did for a client. So we had a client where we helped them get properly incorporated, and we set up a home line of credit with their personal house. Now, at the beginning of their business year, we take money out to pay off that line of credit, and then we put it back in just before their year ends. What's nice about that is they save a tremendous amount of interest that would have gone to the banks. They get to keep it, and they reduce their personal taxes. What do I mean? Well, at the time, my client had a current mortgage, which was only roughly $330,000, but he was paying over $2,500 a month at an interest rate of 6.73. This equated to be over $31,000 a year. We replaced that mortgage with a home line of credit, and as I mentioned, we paid that down every year from his corporation, and then we put the money back in and out, in and out. He saved not only the interest, but it reduced his taxes, where he saved over $31,000 a year. Not $3,100, but $31,000. And with that extra money being saved, you can now invest more. And if you have a holding company or even an operating company, it's highly recommended that you have a properly designed whole life policy inside your holding company. This allows you to grow your money very tax efficiently, and there are ways to get your hard-earned money without having to pay personal tax. That will be a video for another time. But now you know different ways to reduce your taxes. So what's the point? Financial planning is easy until you add emotions and taxes. Until a flat tax is introduced, work with a team of experts and professionals that have your best interests in mind. As a Canadian, it is your right to pay no more or no less tax than what is required by law. Taxes are your biggest expense and a major villain towards reaching and maintaining financial independence. There are simple and legal ways to drastically reduce your income and investment tax that will help you optimize your financial future and still buy the stuff that you want. This is a major step to help you focus on what's truly important and make our communities even better. Tax evasion, folks, is illegal. Tax avoidance is just smart financial planning. If you want to learn more, reach out to us at designaneveninbetterfuture.com, and we will help you grow, control, and keep your hard-earned money. Until then, folks, if there's something you want to learn more, let us know. We'll make it happen. Be healthy, be wealthy, be wise. Push through the noise.